Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting for the town board for the town of Tustin for May the 12th. I will call the meeting to order. Join me in the pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. We have the superintendent from the Sullivan West School here, Dr. Bressler, to present the proposed school budget.
Good evening. Thank you for having me tonight. First of all, I want to thank our continued partnership and commitment. Without Don waking up at 4:30 in the morning to receive calls about the snow, I would be at a loss. So I really appreciate, even though Tustin doesn't usually get the same amount as Jeffersonville, I really always appreciate the feedback throughout the winter. So thank you for that. First, I'd like to thank, of course, the community for past support of our school budget. We have been able to do a number of things at Sullivan West, such as continue with our agriculture program. This year, we are a certified New York State CTE program. We just got approval. We have alignment with SUNY Morrisville. We have also been able to keep driver's education during the school day, which is a benefit to all students and their parents. Our small class sizes, K through 2, we are able to keep under 20. They're a healthy size. We just did an enrollment study recently, and we're expected over the next 10 years to only lose about 10 students, 1% of our population. We had done a study earlier on in 2021 that said we would go down about 50 students just through large grade levels graduating. But now, 5 years later, we did a new study and we're continuing to see enrollment steady. So I know that's always a concern for our districts, but we are looking pretty healthy for the near future. This year's budget really focused on continuing our programs, strong literacy intervention, math intervention in our elementary school, having safe and secure schools. We have armed guards and school resource officers in both school buildings. We are really focused on college and career readiness, multiple pathways in the high school. Again, we've been able to become certified CTE program for agriculture high school. And we're looking to do the same in other fields like health sciences, more of the trades. Yeah, it's good. You're good. And of course, just continue a community connection. We want our students to be giving back to their community, and we really are grateful for partnerships and everything that we receive from the community. So that's something we want to continue with. Budget drivers this year, health insurance, we know, I think is a concern for everybody. Right now, the increase overall of all of our insurance programs was about 9.3%, but some were closer to 11%. And we're expecting them to stay up in the 10% range for a little while. BOCES services had an increase. Our retirement contributions are still kind of holding steady with our employment retirement contribution, which is 16%, and the teacher retirement system was a little bit lower at 8%. The CPI was around 2.63 at the time of the budget, and the tax certiorari, I don't know if you have dealings with the Millennium Pipeline. It goes through 5 of the 7 towns that Sullivan West is in. We have been working with towns and the county's attorney with our legal team in order to petition the courts and to engage in a discussion about their ask. What the Millennium Pipeline was looking for was a reduction that was going to cost our school district $600,000 in those funds. So we have had to, just to safeguard, we put that away in a reserve in case the discussions and the court cases not go well. We would want to make sure that we're prepared and have that. So we began that reserve this year. We've kept that money and we have to plan until that case is over. I expect that to turn into a settlement at some point. But again, we never want to not be prepared and all of a sudden have to pay back, what could be millions if we're not prepared. Overall, the proposed budget, $44,131,553. This was a budget to budget increase of 2%. The tax levy will be 2.99%. The tax cap, so the highest levy limit we could have gone to was 3.52. But I'm very proud of the work of the board, and something that we always say is we are not going to ask our communities for any more than we need. We know that the financial hardships that we face with all the rising costs, health insurance, electricity, gas, we know this is the same thing that our residents also face. So we were under that tax cap. Additionally, this year on the ballot, you're gonna have proposition number 2. Originally in 2016, we have a capital reserve that we could have funded up to 5 million. In order, it was to go to a capital project. As you know, we're kind of at the tail end of our capital project now. We're gonna then go out to bond for it. We, at the time of the capital project, approved 3.4 million because that's what was in the reserve at the time. We've continued to save. We now want to use the rest and have approval for that 1.6, and that will go to offset the bond. So this is money that can only be spent on the capital project. It's money that we saved with the purpose of offsetting the cost of the bond for the capital project, but we do need voter approval to spend that money on the capital project. So you will see Proposition 1 as the budget, and Proposition 2, which is to use the rest of the reserves for offsetting the capital project. What does the 2.99 increase mean for our taxpayers? We estimate $100,000 home in Coshocton is $58 a year increase, and $200,000 home is a $116 increase. If you've been to the gas station lately, this is equivalent to like one extra fill up of my minivan for the, well, I think I hit almost 70 yesterday. And of course, if you have a diesel truck, maybe you're getting up to into that 100 range. So we're hoping that that's kind of how we equate it to just one more trip to the gas station. As you can see, we've been working on programs to increase our local revenue. We service students with disabilities from other school districts. That creates some revenue, and we also became a provider of preschool services in our school district, and we also can then get reimbursed from the county. So we're trying to find ways that we can have some revenue in our district. The other thing that we are doing this year is $100,000 is designated for a capital outlay project. A capital outlay project is a specific project. It can only be up to $100,000 that schools are allowed to do, where we will get our full building need, which is 70% state aid back. So spend $100,000 and get 70% of that back through state aid. The idea of these projects is to fix minor things going along so that you have less to do, and we would have less need to go out with such a huge project that we are involved with right now. We would like to have that project to spend on a fire panel upgrade at the middle high school. We had a building condition survey that says that's starting to be a little faulty, and we want to address that as a safety concern as soon as possible. We also want to improve our scoreboard on the football soccer field. And we've discussed having a digital sign at the bottom of the high school. A lot of people drive in, they look for school information. It would just be a great way to communicate. The vote will be Tuesday, May 19th, 12 o'clock to 9 p.m. And it's right here in the Tustin Library. That's about it. I know I ran through that pretty quickly. Any questions?
I actually have a question. With the 44 million total budget, what does that break down to on a per student basis?
I do not have that figure off the top of my head, but I'd be happy to send that to you.
Could you please?
Yes, I wouldn't want to get that wrong.
Math counts?
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Well, how many students are in the district?
Right now, we have about 1,030, little over 1,030.
Okay,
While you can do that simple divide by the number, that's not actually
Yeah.
how it's done at the state level, because they remove the items that you're not spending on your child's education.
Right.
So you could do a rough math, okay, that's X per student.
Mhm.
But I do know that we actually have like a number that the state has a formula and has given us that we. And that's available on the New York State public school data site. So there's a website where you can find that for any school district.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You don't have to stay for the whole meeting.
Thank you.
Excuse me. One question about the social emotional learning supports, is that for the whole high school or just for
K
certain
through 12,
students?
pre-K through 12.
Pre-K?
Yes, we have different programs. We have Ms. Kendra, that's specifically K through 5. And then we have ruler K through 12, but actually we've been tying in more supports and we're really looking at how are we addressing student needs in the classroom.
Mhm.
So that's been something that we continuously need to work on.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are doing an amazing job at.
thank you.
This is just a really small nerd editor observation, but this is a nice flyer and it's instructive. But the phrase ERS and TRS are meaningless probably to most
Right.
of the people. So that could be more stuff, just to keep that in the back of your mind.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's just,
Yeah.
What is that?
Great.
Okay, that's all.
And I guess lastly, where does one buy $100,000 house in Kitchener?
That's true. That's true.
Any other?
Sure you come back?
Yeah, your questions are reflective of anybody else's questions out there, so I appreciate that you do ask and I'm gonna get you that information.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you on the coffee shop. 1.4 are payment of bills. The general expended $8,309.86. The highway $260,102.03. Water district $7,450.75. The sewer district $21,369.04. The lighting district $2,160.30. The capital water was $5,135. For a total of $304,526.98. The largest of that was the highway, which we've got the resolution coming up on for the loader, which was, I believe, $224,000. And Kevin and Bruce did the bills. Any questions? Or
No, it was that check for 200. I thought it might be a typo at first, but yeah, that's been discussed for years, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah,
budgeted.
and it
for a
was
long time.
budgeted for that, yes, and it came off of the state bid, so we were good. A motion to pay the bills as presented.
So move.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
I oppose. For those division reports that we do not do here in public, again, they will be posted on the website for those to read. I believe. Park and fire, who's up there? Water and sewer. Almost missed it. Only had one line.
Yeah, the water sewer report got eaten here. I don't know what happened. But anyway, it's a short report. The Department of Health tested for PFAS again, which is a growing concern. And it's a test that costs a lot of money, and when you get it done for free by the Department of Health, it's always good. There were some issues with power outages that shut down some pumps and such, but only temporarily. The biggest news item is that Craig is prioritizing putting a booster pump at well 2. If we can get well 2 back online, that's a tremendous resource that we have. So that's
Well, two's been something that they've been working on over the last year,
Yeah.
bringing it up to.
getting it back.
Any questions from the board regarding water sewer? Jane, Jane, do you want to do your grant?
Sure. you're skipping to me. Okay, I went to, Sullivan 180. All recipients had a meeting there. And we were awarded our total request, which was very nice because they had told us that might not happen, so that's nice. But mostly what I would like to say about that meeting is that when I was there, there's always a little social hour beforehand. And I would like the board and the public to know that while I was there, somebody said, "Oh, where do you come from?" And I told them, "Oh," she said, "we go to Riverfest every year, and I just know when we turn that corner, we're gonna see it beautiful Narrowsburg." She really just commented, and that's from the Narrowsburg Beautification Group. They deserve all that credit, so I thought that was very nice. Otherwise, Beauty Seabrand, as we continue with zoning, the archives we haven't heard from. And oh my gosh, National Fish and Wildlife, this time they wrote back to me and they said, the title on the reimbursement request has to be exactly as the title on the grant. Oh, it looked pretty good to me. What was different was I didn't write New York after Tustin, so that all had to be resubmitted. So was resubmitted. Hopefully we'll get that soon. That's that. Any questions? Okay.
Starting with the Parks Committee, had a very good meeting. The notes are very thorough. I won't go through everything. The exciting news is that we did receive or are slated to receive that grant. Lots of good work done in the park. For those who haven't been down there, the park and the flats, the bases are now outlined. The ball field is looking very good. I'm sure we will start mowing soon. We did get the debris that needed to be cut away has been cut away on Kirk's Road as well. Narrowsburg Beautification has started monitoring and is going to report back on all invasive, well, the majority of invasive species that are in public areas. So we can come up with some kind of plan to start cutting those back or maintaining them better than they have been done in the past. And the committee to name, the subcommittee to look at potential park names has met and is planning on meeting again. Any questions about parks or public spaces?
No, but Crystal and I were speaking today, and we got talking about the dugout down on the field and being with the amount of work that's being done down there and how good it's starting to look again. I didn't realize that there was a scoreboard sign with 2 names on it that was always on the side. And I think that was something that maybe we should have the park look at, the committee look at.
Great.
And get
Yeah,
them.
the scoreboard had 1 name. I think we can put the 2 names on. That would be Mark North and David Carreri. David's name, I believe, is on the front by where there's, it does need some touch-up work where there's bats and the balls on the very front of the dugout, but.
Great.
Yeah, maybe look at a scoreboard with the names, kind of keeping in the theme of what's being done down there. And if they're gonna use it, at least they've got a scoreboard they could
We
use.
might be able to squeeze that in with the grant, depending what the price is, what the cost.
Okay,
And just within the activity down in the park and the bases now being outlined, I do see more and more families and kids down there all the time, which is always very
I think
exciting.
they come to the pavilion.
I thought we could avoid that word.
That's where I was. for the meeting.
Oh,
The building committee notes are thorough and are embedded in the report, so they're available online.
Catnip got planted today.
Oh, awesome. Look at that. Oh, and all of our landscaping made it through the winter, surviving frost, freeze, and deer.
Trees look great.
moving into old business, 3.1, we have nothing on, but 3.2 is the lawn mowing bid for projects 1 and 2. We had two bids that came in. Wellcut was the first one for job number 2. The bid price came in at $11,000. This is the sewer and water part of it. Job number 1, which is the rest of the town that we have, they came in at $16,000. DeBoer Enterprises for job number 2, they came in at $8,925. And for job number 1, they came in at $14,532.21. Any discussion on that at all before we make a motion to award? If not, I would make a motion to award the lawn mowing bid for projects number 1 and 2 to the lowest bid of DeBoer Enterprises.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I do have a quick question, actually. Does that
Sure.
reflect what was budgeted,
I
or does it beat it?
I think it beats it.
That's what I thought in my mind.
Before was budgeted.
It beat it,
When you beat
not by
it,
much,
as in exceeded or
under budget,
under budget?
under budget. But not by much.
All right.
The other would have been over budget, so that's good. Is there any other old business that we've got? I don't have anything. Any of the board? If not, into new business. 4.1 is setting the pay rate for the town gardener at $35 an hour as of January 1st, 2026. And that's for Lee Allison as the gardener with hours to pre-authorized by the park committee. Discussion on that at all?
I think that's actually lower than many partners, so that's great.
Lucky to get
We
it.
know you've got a soft spot for gardeners. I will make the motion. A second,
I'll second.
further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed. We had the ZBA appointment, we had a couple of letters come in regarding that. I spoke with Neil, who was the ZBA board chairman. He would like the board to go with Glenn Magilton, who is the wife of the deceased member of our board.
How long is the appointment?
That is a good question. I can
Yeah,
tell you-
just to fulfill, to just fill
This
the
is-
spot or to?
This is to fill the spot, yeah.
They would be completing his
I'm sorry,
term.
the completion of the term, yes.
And she
I should have been prepared for that, because it should be in the resolution anyway. There we go. His term will expire on 12/31 of 2027. So it will be the remainder of this year and next year.
Well, I'll move that.
A second,
I'll second.
any further discussion?
Has she been approached?
She actually, yeah. That's, yeah, she came in and she was one of the people that
Okay.
put a desire in. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed. 4.3, a formality of authorizing the highway superintendent to purchase a Caterpillar wheel loader as budgeted from the state bid. And this is to attach to the bill. I would make that motion.
Second.
Who seconded?
I'm second.
That's pretty quick. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 4.4 is a standard workday for elected officials, and this is for Greg Triggs as a councilman and Clute Padu as a town justice, and this is part of our efforts to get the retirement system squared away for them. Standard workday 6, reported activities 5.33. We have questions, we can ask Greg, Clute, or Crystal. Do we have any questions? Otherwise, I would entertain a motion.
That standard work day, is that hours or a number
So-
of days?
Standard workday, the lowest is 6 you can have. That's something that the town board has given to each position many, many years ago. And it goes into the calculation when we go on their website. It's the smallest part-time position that a town member can take.
And that goes so that you're paying into your retirement system so that
Right.
at the end of the illustrious career that you've got here, you will get those monthly checks for $20.35.
I want them all.
I would make the motion to set the standard workday for these 2 elected officials.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any other new business before the board? I see we've got something that I've gonna come out in any second.
I'm putting on a different hat for a second. Tustin Youth would like permission to use the ball field down in Flats for Halloween this year. Any detailed information on that? This is second.
I mean, as usual,
More or less as usual, we would definitely be utilizing the pavilion and discussion to get another, very large tent so we can close it. We would like to make we've got a lot of feedback that a lot of the parents of the younger kids really liked having a small, cute little walkthrough for the kids because they're like, oh, I went through a haunted house. This is scary. And then the older kids, they miss that and they really want us to do another really large one. And since we have this container full of all this fun stuff, we want to do a large one and a little one. So at least one night, maybe 2. But that's something that we're trying to offer. We want to try to maintain at least every other year.
How late will it go?
Typically by 10, it's cleaned up. Like we might not have the tents won't be taken down. But I want to say probably till 9 for activity. And then the last little bit to us just 7. Yeah, no, because after that it gets really cold. And it's right in the middle of all the houses, so we don't want to. But it would be a Friday, maybe a Friday night, but definitely Saturday.
And would that include a trunk or treat,
Yes.
which we've done before very successfully?
Yep.
sounds good.
So you're looking for a motion of approval from the board for
Yeah.
the 2026 Halloween
I'm fine.
on the Flats
Mhm.
in the park. From the park committee president.
The only other thing I'd want awareness of is we're probably gonna bring in some topsoil to get rid of some of the ruts in the park. So we would just need to be very vigilant about vehicles being on the park.
Yep.
Cause that would give us about 9 months of use of it.
So a motion to authorize
I'll make that one.
the Tustin Youth to utilize the park for their 2026 Halloween
I'll second.
event. I have a motion, a second, further discussion? All in favor? Aye, opposed? Any other new business? If not, I will open up for public comment from the floor and then from the Zoom platform. Michael?
Nothing.
Yes.
I'll be quick. The park naming subcommittee, we did meet once. We're not gonna be meeting like a million times, so, if anybody, first of all, wants to participate or has a name they'd like to put forth for consideration, they could let you know.
Sure.
So, I mean, we don't plan on having this last forever, so if anybody wants to on, we're welcome.
Anyone else? Public comment? Zoom?
No, crickets,
Everybody dumped out.
like a nice spring evening.
Board comment.
Yeah, I had a conversation with Neil about a number of things, and one of the things was a concern he raised that there's a motion in Albany, there's people want to create, this is not a data center, these are battery storage. If you're creating wind or solar power, you need to store it somewhere, and these are giant storage centers. And there's something moving through the legislature that it's called the Rapid Act that would build these battery storage centers lickety split. And one of the things they want to do is to override local zoning and home rule. I discussed this briefly with Paula Kay, and she's very concerned about it as well. The town of Hurley, the board of the town of Hurley went on record saying, we're against this. I talked to Paula Kay's office to say, is there any legislature going forward that's combating this idea of losing home rule? I said, if there is, I would like to maybe introduce a resolution to say we're for that. But I just wanted to raise the issue because once you lose home rule, you could have any number of things.
Once they take a little bit, then they take a little bit more, and then they take a little bit more, and that's one of the things about New York State, being a home rule state, that it gives that power to your local government to help them,
Right.
you know.
Do we have a definition in zoning for a data center? I don't think so.
No, it
This
doesn't
is not
matter.
a data center, this is a battery storage, but it's,
They're looking to, it doesn't matter, we say no in our zoning, if they want it, they will sidestep
Right.
our zoning and put it in.
I read something, but obviously I'm wrong, that there was a 3-year moratorium, or there was a.
This is for what Kevin's speaking of, is not data centers, it's for energy. It's a storage of energy.
battery storage.
Yeah.
I have which I have nothing against, it's more of it's the home rule aspect of this, but not. I just wanted to raise the issue, something new to be frightened about.
When you say large, how large?
Well, they're talking like 20 megabytes, ideally, it's a good thing for the grid, to have these things so you can store this renewable energy, but they're enormous things that catch fire. I mean, there's stories in the city that, one e-bike's battery burns down a brownstone or something.
Yeah.
So, there's any number of things that are of concern to people.
Yeah.
But to me, it's the principle of home rule. That's the thing. Because once you do that, they can say, okay, you don't have home rule, here's an incinerator in your backyard or whatever.
Huh.
Anyway,
So you have
it's,
to state that you.
We don't have to state, but what Kevin is saying is that if there's enough pushback in it, like the Paula case, we've got some pushback started. It might be something we want to do, if it's something that we want to push back against, which I believe we probably
yeah,
would want to.
if somebody introduces a bill saying that, to protect home rule against this Rapid Act or whatever,
Yeah.
and it's Bill AR 215 or whatever, I think it would behoove us to go on record as saying that, the town of Tustin supports this. I don't want to make some vague statement about, vague things.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything.
Any other board comment?
I've also heard with the data centers and these battery storage, that once the home rule is overridden, you also cannot inspect the sites, nor is there any overview for how energy or public resources are used. And with our grid and our commitment to water, I assume how most people would feel about that.
If there is no further board comment, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move that.
Second, in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Thank you, folks.
Well, we are